Does it feel like you are never going to be able to overcome insomnia because nothing seems to be working? So did I. I'm here to share my story today of how I overcame 30 years of severe insomnia. You'll see my story felt hopeless. You'll probably be able to relate to it in a lot of ways. A lot of people would think something's broken or something's wrong. And I'm here to share my story and show you what is possible. If I can do it after 30 years, so can you. And I'm going to share you tips along the way of how I got through my journey and how I overcame insomnia so that you can apply it to your journey as well. So my journey starts all the way back when I was in grade school. I was just a little kid that couldn't sleep, and I would stay awake every single night. My parents used to call me their night owl. They would buy me little watches that have an owl on it, t-shirts with owls, like all sorts of things that had an owl on it because I was their little night owl. I would be awake all night, unable to sleep until I was in the classroom and I'd sleep in class. That was very common for me. Now, as I started to get older, started to grow up, I started to realize that there is a real problem here. I don't know why my parents never sought or looked for help when I was younger, but as an adult, I started to realize that this is a big issue and I need to fix this. So I saw lots of doctors, I saw sleep doctors, and none of them were able to help me in the end. Nobody really taught me anything. All they wanted to do is prescribe sleep medications. Plus, none of them were trained in CBTI, so they didn't have any methods or advice that they can give me. That was all they had. Sleeping pills, which you have probably been prescribed as well. If you've gone to your doctor, that's pretty much what most of them will do. As an adult, once I became an adult, my insomnia was even worse, because I would go 2, 3, 4 days on 0 hours sleep. And then I would get one single night of up to 4 hours. It could be 2 to 4 hours. That's all I would get. And then it would repeat itself. I would go multiple days in a row of 0 hours sleep. And then I would get one night of just a few hours sleep. I had to go to university while I had insomnia. I had to get good grades because I'm a perfectionist and I wanted to be a straight A student, which I did manage to do, except for one class. She gave me a B. Long story, she didn't like something I said, so she docked me and my grade went down. But anyway, I also worked as a nurse. I had to be at the hospital at 4 a.m. for clinical rotations as a nurse, all on 0 hours sleep. On top of that, being a spouse, having a significant other, and friends and family, and trying to make time for them, have the energy for all this, be a good wife, be a good friend, be a good daughter and sister. There was a lot of pressure, and it was challenging to try to balance everything in my life and not getting sleep and feeling exhausted and feeling like crap. I felt broken, I felt hopeless, and I felt depressed. And at the worst part of my insomnia, now I don't share this story often because it's depressing, it's sad. Okay, so at the worst part of my insomnia, sleeping pills weren't working, nothing was working, obviously. I started to combine alcohol with my sleeping pills. I was so desperate that I would be willing to try anything, even if it was dangerous. At that point, if it hurt me, I did not care. I felt suicidal at that time. I just mentally and physically, I was a mess. So I started taking sleeping pills, sometimes combining a couple types of sleeping pills, and taking a few shots of tequila every single night. You can imagine how I felt the next day every time I did this. Please do not try this at all. This is just a stupid mistake that I did, but I really wanted to share it to show you how desperate I felt, and I understand the measures you're willing to take, what you're willing to do to get sleep. I know that desperation. Eventually, I did try all sorts of other natural methods and alternatives, like working with a naturopath. I've worked with 2 naturopaths in the past to help me overcome insomnia, but it didn't really work. I've worked with Chinese medicine, done lots of acupuncture and Chinese herbs and all these different things to try to overcome insomnia. Still nothing. I have tried pretty much every supplement out there. If it exists for sleep, I've probably taken it. I've done a lot of the meditations on YouTube, a lot of the hypnosis videos for sleep on YouTube. I have also done 3 rounds of CBTI. And it did nothing. In fact, it was more like torture, as if I wasn't suffering enough. If you've done sleep restriction, things like that, and having to get in and out of bed, you know what I'm talking about. And I've done thousands, probably. Maybe that's an over-exaggeration, but maybe hundreds of other things out there. I don't know. Just everything that existed, I pretty much tried, and it failed. Eventually, I contacted a sleep doctor that I call my unicorn sleep doctor because he is unlike any other doctor that I have talked to or that I've worked with. He is amazing. He has a different approach and a different outlook to insomnia. And he is the one that helped me overcome my insomnia and also helped me learn how to help others overcome their insomnia as well. That is how I'm here today. I'm sharing my point of view of how I overcame insomnia. And I'm not talking about just in this one video because I can't share everything in one single video. Through all my videos, my online Sleep Makeover course, my community, everywhere, I have compiled everything that I have learned and I'm sharing it with you so that you can overcome insomnia because I know what it's like to feel hopeless. And now I know what it's like to overcome insomnia and what is actually required. Now, before I go on and talk about how I overcame insomnia and my tips for you, I want to invite you over to my free Sleep Makeover community. Inside, you're going to find a really positive, supportive community of others that are applying exactly what I'm teaching you here and in all my videos and my course. People that have overcome insomnia, there to support you. I'm in there guiding people and guiding you if you're inside too. There's also a classroom tab where there's tons of free resources, free lessons, free worksheets, meditations, and tools to help you on your journey to overcome insomnia. Go click the link in the description box below. It is absolutely free and I will see you in there. So let's talk about how to overcome insomnia. I have a bunch of tips that I'm going to share with you. If you've watched my last video, I shared a graphic. I'm going to share it here. Let's post it here. Insomnia comes from those fear-based thoughts. You had some disrupted sleep at some point, and then you started to fear being awake. That fear, those fear-based thoughts led to feeling fear and trying to escape sleeplessness, which is causing your brain to think that there is danger out there. So activates that fight or flight system, your hyperarousal is high, and you can't sleep. All of this different stuff that you try to do to overcome insomnia is trying to lower that hyperarousal, instead of going after what's causing the hyperarousal in the first place. This is why most things fail. They're not going after the root cause. What's actually causing that hyperarousal? That is a big mistake out there in what people teach or what is taught out there. So if we can start from that fear-based level, those fear-based thoughts, this is the key to overcome insomnia. What you can do is start to reframe those fear-based thoughts. There's a lot that you can do to reduce the fear, but we're going to talk about reframing the thoughts. If you want to learn the other ones, go to my free community because in the resource tab, you'll learn about all the different ways and what you can do. But let's start with the fear-based thoughts because that is the biggest thing right there. It's about reframing them. You can try to catch yourself every time you have a fear-based thought. I'm scared I won't be able to sleep tonight. You can look at that. Why am I scared? What is it that scares you about now? Maybe you're scared you won't be able to get through the day. That's what that fear is about. Okay, I'm scared I won't be able to get through the day. You can reframe that or analyze that fear-based thought to say something like, I have made it through every single day in the past. I've even had good days, even on 0 sleep. I can get through tomorrow. This is possible. Maybe you are scared that you're going to have some kind of health issues or health conditions from not sleeping. You could go watch my video if you I was going to say if you remind me, but if I remember, I'll put a link in the description box below as well, where I talked about if you should be scared, if this is a valid fear. Maybe your fear is, if I don't get sleep, I'm going to develop a health condition, or some negative health consequence is going to happen if I don't get the sleep that I need. You can reframe that to, you know what? I'm going to go watch Caitlin's video about sleep and health conditions. And then you're going to watch it and be like, okay, I'm reframing that to, I realize actually maybe I don't need to worry about the health conditions. There aren't actually any studies that prove that. And there are so many other ways that I can take care of my health than just this one little thing. There is no evidence to show that it causes health conditions. And oftentimes the health conditions cause sleep issues. There are associations in the study, by the way, associations between sleep and some health conditions. But if you look at the side effect of these health conditions, they cause sleep issues, not the other way around. There's too much to explain in this video. Go watch my video about it. But it's taking all these fear-based thoughts and looking at things in a different way, maybe in a little bit more positive way. My next tip is to reduce the pressure to sleep. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves to get more sleep, whether it's to be a better parent, to do better at our job, to prevent ourselves from getting health conditions, to be able to enjoy things in life, to be able to go out with friends. There's so many things that we have riding on our sleep that we're waiting until we get more sleep before we can experience things like joy and happiness and going out or going back to school. All these different things that we want to do once we're sleeping better. Or it's the pressure like to be a better parent. Like we can't be a good parent until we get more sleep. How do you think this pressure is going to make you feel when you go to bed at night? I have to get sleep because of all these different reasons. You're going to have performance anxiety. You're going to be scared that you're not going to be able to sleep. Your hyperarousal level is going to be up. And that is not going to lead to more sleep. It's going to lead to less. So instead, if you can write down all these different ways that you place pressure on yourself, try to start to remove the pressure. Like, you can't be a good parent unless you get more sleep. If you look in the past, you have probably had many good days where you were a good parent. It didn't rely on sleep. Yes, you're not feeling your best mentally and physically, but you are still a good parent. You can be a good parent on 0 hours sleep. Yes, I know more sleep is ideal, but for right now, you can be a good parent. Take off that pressure. It's not helping you. Maybe there are fun things that you want to do, but you don't want to go out and do them because maybe they're going to end too late. You're going to get home too late, or it's going to take too much energy. Maybe you can find ways, even on 0 sleep, to enjoy them anyway. Because when you're out experiencing things that you enjoy and that bring you happiness, they energize you. Even if you had 0 hours sleep, you're going to feel a little bit better. So instead of waiting until you get more sleep before you can experience the joy and the happiness and things that you want to do, find ways to enjoy them now. So you can do this with all the different ways that you're placing pressure on yourself, and find ways to remove that pressure. That alone is going to help reduce the fear and reduce the hyperarousal levels so that with time you can start to sleep more. The next tip is to reduce resistance. Resistance to being awake, resistance to having insomnia, resistance to the sleep anxiety or general anxiety, just resistance to all these things that aren't happening exactly as we like, the things that we aren't happy about. The more we resist them and fight them and try to avoid them, the longer they're going to last. The less sleep that we're going to get, the less happy we're going to feel because it's creating a lot of stress and fear and anxiousness. Which brings me to the next tip, which is acceptance. I know I talked about this in my last video, but getting to a place of acceptance is the opposite of resistance, basically. You're accepting that you can't force sleep to happen right now, that you are awake, there's nothing you can do about it, and you're making the best of it. Now, acceptance isn't accepting that I'm not sleeping, I'll never sleep again, or I'm not going to try to overcome insomnia anymore. It's more of accepting that you can't make sleep happen. You can't control it. Resisting it isn't going to help you in any way. So what's the point? I might as well stop resisting and make the best of where I'm at right now at the moment. I will overcome insomnia. It's not giving up, like I said. It's just leading to a place of acceptance and not fighting it. That is what, with time, will lead to more sleep, not trying to fight it and resist it and force it. Which is very similar to my next tip, which is to stop chasing sleep. The more you chase sleep and trying to make it happen, that is what's leading to trying to control sleep and trying to resist being awake because you're chasing that sleep. You got to get that sleep instead of bring yourself back into this moment, accepting where you're at and developing more inner peace, if that makes sense. Chasing sleep is not going to help you in any way. And I know the desperation of trying to make sleep happen and get more sleep when you're not getting enough. But that chasing and trying to get to this place that we determine we have to have in order to be happy is only going to create more stress and hyperarousal and less sleep. Chasing sleep is doing the opposite of what you want. So you want to learn to be in this moment, accept where you're at. You can't make sleep happen right now. And that's what's going to bring inner peace, lower your hyperarousal, lower your fear, and that is what's going to bring you more sleep with time. Now, if you really want to understand how this method works and why the traditional methods don't work, and some more tips on how to overcome insomnia, check out this video. I think it'll be really helpful for you because I will go more in depth and you will understand how to apply this to your life and to your sleep. Or you might like the other video above it. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye.